Today we're going to set up and install the brand new to the Maxspect Jump line, the MJ-L165 LED light from Maxspect. So join me, won't you? Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting together the mounting arm for the light. Put it in fast motion here because I didn't want to bore you with all this, but basically it's very straightforward. There's little screws that go in there, and it fits really easily. It doesn't really need much description on how to do it. Just need a screwdriver with a Phillips head, and the one arm mounts to the light itself, and there are slots and little pins that connect the rest of the mounting arm together. Another one of the locking knobs there. You want to make sure that you fasten them somewhat tightly. Then you thread the power cord through, and then there are a couple of clips that clip in and also hold the power cord securely. So that's that. So we've run into a minor problem here. I don't know if you can see it, hopefully you can. There's a little bump on the back side of this mount right here, and it won't fit over the plastic lip on this Aqueon 30-gallon breeder tank. If you were using it on an acrylic tank, for instance, like this acrylic wall right here, you'd have no problem. Something that Maxspect is going to have to take a look at, because I'm going to have to make some modifications to this frame here, and while it's not a huge deal, I shouldn't have to do that. I have the mounting screws here backed out far enough, and it will not go over this little part of the frame. I could force it, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to end up cracking the top frame on the tank here. So gonna have to do a little modifications here. After doing a little more reading in the setup manual, I realized that I had the mount like this when actually it's supposed to be like this, but even with putting it on the correct way, it still would not fit over the frame. So instead of modifying the frame on my tank, what I did was I took a file and took some material off of the mounting base here. So it does fit on tight. It sounds worse than it actually is, but you know, I think I'm going to take just a little bit more material off of here in case anything were to expand. So I'm sure if I just take a little more material off of this, it'll slide on real nice and it'll mount up real good. So now that we have our light securely mounted to the tank frame, it's time to go ahead and plug it in for the first time. All right. What the light is in right now is a factory default setting. In fact, there are 4 different settings that you can toggle through here. Little button on the back and little LED light on the top changes color. But this is just factory settings. We still need to go in and connect the app to the light so that we can adjust everything, the schedule, the light intensities, the spectrums, everything. So let's go ahead and get the app connected to the light. But before we do that, I want to show you a little thing on the top here with the Maxspect logo that the LED color changes when you toggle through the different light settings here. Before we get the light connected to the app, a couple of things I'd like to mention. Again, this is a 65 watt LED light. But the factory specifications of it say that it's applicable up to a 24-inch wide tank. Now I have this on a 36-inch wide tank for demonstration purposes only. You would really want to put an additional light, one on each end of the tank here, if you're going to use it on a tank that's anything wider than 24 inches. The depth is perfectly fine on this tank, but the width is a little too wide. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing this light. It's only good up to a 24-inch wide tank. Okay, so here we are in the Google Play Store. I'm using an Android device. If you're using an Apple device, you'd have to go into the Apple App Store. And one thing you'll notice, what we want to do here is we want to download the Synergy Cloud. And what you'll notice is there's also another app called just Synergy. Now this is an older app that Maxspect has. This Synergy app will not work with this new light. You need to download the Synergy Cloud app in order to be able to connect to the light and control it. Now, another thing that I want to mention is that you need a 5.2 or higher version of Android. Now, I tried to download the app onto an older phone that I had laying around the house, and it wouldn't even show up when I would search for Synergy Cloud. The only thing that would show up was the Synergy app. And this app will not connect, the Synergy will not connect to the new light. So that's something else that Maxspect is going to need to disclose, is that you need 5.2 or higher version of an Android system in order to be compatible with the Synergy Cloud app. So that being said, we'll download the Synergy Cloud app, then we will get the app connected to the light, and then we will be able to adjust the settings as far as the schedule, different spectrum and intensities of the light. Okay, so we have the Synergy Cloud app downloaded onto our phone, and to expedite this video so that you're not sitting here for an hour and a half as I go through and set everything up, I've already gone in. Not that it took an hour and a half, I'm exaggerating on that. It was pretty simple to get the light connected to the app. I will mention that you're going to want your device relatively close to the light. I would say like no more than 6 feet away from the light when you're trying to connect the app to the light. But it's really straightforward. The first thing that they're going to want you to do is to create a free account, which is real easy to do. So I've already gone in there and done that. Let's just open this up here. The app opens up. You can see that little screen right there. You put in your username and a password. But anyways, right here, you go up to the top here where this little plus symbol is, and that's where you would go to add a light. I've already added the light. That's the light right here. And I've already gone in and scheduled my times, but we can kind of like go through and give a little, there's an easy setup. Click that and just use the auto mode here, and this is pretty cool. It gives you some options of what type of corals are you keeping in your tank. Well, in mine it's mostly in fact it's almost all zoanthids. There's one leather coral in there, so click that right there. Then you can customize it a little bit. The default setting is at 1600K. I actually like a little bit more blue, so we can set that there. And then this is where you set the sunrise and sunset. I've already done that. Okay, so we've confirmed that, and right here is your schedule. Change it to 20K. It's very user-friendly to use this app. Right here it's showing the actual time that it is. You can go in and you can make slight adjustments here. But right now, this is in auto mode. If you wanted to make adjustments, you need to go into the manual mode here. And this is where you can go in and you can adjust your sliders up and down for whatever you want. But I'm not going to do that right now. I've already done it. But just to give you a little bit of an idea, you know, you can move your green up, you can move your green down. You do have to hold your finger on the screen for a little bit in order for it to register, but it's not real bad. It's just a little bit to get used to. But this is pretty much how I like to run my tanks. I like to use a lot of blue, as you can see. I've got a little bit of UV in there, absolutely zero red, and a little bit of warm white and a little bit of green. But this is the manual settings. You can also, like I showed before, you can use the auto. But this way here, you can customize it to exactly how you want your tank to look. So I have the ambient lighting turned down in the room in the hopes that you can see the tank a little bit better. You're probably not going to see it in the video, but this light is putting out a lot of shimmer in the tank. That's something that I like. Some people don't like it, but I personally like having some shimmer in the tank. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to use the sliders in manual mode and turn all the LEDs up to 100%. The UV. And every time that you make a change using the app, the little LED with the Maxspect logo here, it flashes a couple times to confirm that it's received that command. The royal blue and cool white, the green, the warm white, and the red. So you can see illumination-wise, every area of this tank is covered, even though it's wider than what they recommend for this light. So that's very nice. I'm going to turn the red down. I don't particularly care for a lot of red on there. So that's everything with the exception of the red. This is turned up to 100%. I don't know what the power output is. I do have a power meter, and in a future video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to test this light as far as power values. I don't know if it's going to be on this tank or another tank, but that's something to look forward to in the future. One thing that's important that I want to mention here is that Maxspect has developed a technology with this light that when you change the color spectrum of the light, it does not reduce the light. Intensities at this is not going to change the power output. So that's something that I'm very interested in seeing in person, how that is working with the light. So that's something new, that's proprietary technology that Maxspect has come out with. Do a little bit of research on it, it's pretty cool. So I'll go over a couple of things that I like about the light and a couple of things that I don't like so much about the light. I like the fact that they include the mounting arm with the light. That's very cool. I like the look, the sleekness, and it's a very compact light. I like that. I like that it has a really big fan on it. That tells me it's going to keep it nice and cool and that the LEDs are going to perform well. I also like the clips that they give you for the power cord on the back of the light here. It keeps it all nice and clean. The app, once you get the hang of it, it's very easy to use, very responsive. A couple of things I don't like about it, and these are kind of minor. Hopefully Maxspect can make these changes. The first one, and most important for me anyway, is this mount here that did not fit on my Aqueon frame. And it's not like this is some oddball tank. There's, you know, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of these tanks that are out there. So you shouldn't have to modify something to make it fit. Like it was minor, but still I had to do it. That part I didn't like so much. It was easily fixed, like in 5 minutes worth of file work on it to get it to fit on there. Another thing that I didn't really care for is the fact that they did not disclose on the outside of the box that you needed the newest version of Android on your phone in order to be able to even download and use this app to control the lights. So that should be something that should be on the outside of the box, in my opinion. before you even buy this light. Otherwise, if you had an old phone, you bought this light, you're not going to be able to control it. And then one other thing, while I do like the fact that they included this arm, the arm is not the strongest. I'm sure that it's fine. It's probably because of how far up and out I have it, but you can see that it does bounce quite a bit. But honestly, how many times are you banging on the light here? So anyways, maybe they could do some design change to it, but I'm not complaining because it is a light that's included, or an arm that's included with the light. So I'm not whining about that, just something to know about, that if you're going to purchase this light. Speaking of, the MSRP of this light is $239 US. I don't know if they are available yet in the United States, but they will be very shortly. So that's what I like. What I don't like about the light, I hope that I kind of explained things here so that you would know. Would I recommend this light? Yeah, I think for the price point, I think it's a nice light. So that being said, I would like to thank Maxspect again for sending me the items. The next video that I will be putting out will be a review of the new protein skimmer that's coming out from Maxspect. I'm excited to delve into that and show everybody that skimmer. Thanks to Lee for his help emailing back and forth when I had some minor issues with the light, getting it connected and whatnot. That's how I found out about needing the newer version of Android. I had an older phone that I was just trying to use that I had laying around. So once I got that figured out, everything went really fast. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, to please subscribe, like the video, and also hit that bell so you get notifications of when new videos come out. So that's all I have for you right now, and until next time, happy reefing.